Welcome to the perfect timing tutorial. There are so many things I love about this trick, and I know you're going to share my passion for it. It is an extremely clear prediction effect, truly impossible. And one of the things I really worked hard on this over several years is trying to keep the effect as clear as possible. That's one of the big challenges with magic and mentalism, is all too often the effect can get cluttered. And it doesn't it doesn't leave room for the spectator's imagination to blow up the trick, to really make it so much more than it really is. And that's why simplicity, when you keep the effect clear, you're leaving their mind with fewer places to sort of speculate and get confused and theorize, and you just present this absolutely clear, undeniable impossibility, because it's so direct. And that's one of the things that makes this trick so strong. So perfect timing. First, there are no sleights. A total beginner, an 8-year-old can do this. In that regard, it's a perfect trick. There are no sleights required in it. Okay. Second, you never miss. You always get it right. Third, there are no forces. That's the thing why this is such a fooler on so many levels. There are no forces when you have the spectator call stop and they want to punch the hole. That's exactly, they can even change their mind on the position of where you want to punch the hole, okay? There's also no switch of the clock, no switch of the envelope, okay? Your prediction's always right. You can also repeat the trick. I'm going to show you how you can repeat this trick. You're going to find along with this tutorial, there's a link to the PDF so that you can you get a starter pack of these, okay, of these nicely printed clocks. But you can also use the PDF to print off as many as you want. You can print them off on a heavy cardstock, a lighter cardstock, okay, or even on just paper. Okay, but you got to be careful about the lighting, and you'll see why. It's important the spectator doesn't know the positions of each of the hours of the clock, okay? You want to make sure there's no light coming through, and you'll see about that in a moment. Anyway, for so many reasons and a lot more, I think you're going to get a huge kick, and it's going to become one of your favorite tricks to perform. I start by showing a pad of paper. I stare deeply into someone's eyes, always a powerful erotic moment. And they see me write something on the pad of paper. They don't know what it is, okay? I put the marker away, boom. The pad of paper either have a spectator hold between their hands or I just put it right down on the surface. Very, very fair, okay? Next, I introduce the envelope, okay? Reach inside the envelope. I do not tell them what I'm pulling out. I have somebody else hold on to this. They hold on to that. So somebody is holding on to the envelope, somebody else is holding on to the pad of paper. I say, look, I'm going to slowly move this circle through this hole punch. And at one point, I want you to say punch. And so I slowly move it through, rounding, going round and round and round and round and round. Let's say they say punch there, and I punch right there, okay? It's literally that fair. Then when I lift up the pad of paper, they see that I've written on it a time. 4:30. Okay, 4:30. And when I show them the time here, they can see it's 4:30. So fair, and in fact, then to add to that, I asked the person, I actually put some money where my mouth is. I actually made a bet here. Open up the envelope. They open up the envelope, and inside the envelope, they find my bet is exactly $4 and 30 cents. So let's break down the basics of this really elegant, direct, minimal handling. And this is what took me so long to really refine, is to get this handling down to a point, okay? I used to experiment with other methods, one involving a pencil dot on the back of one of the clocks and trying to get a timing force, but that involved a force and didn't always work. Another method I had involved switching the clock. I had a prepared clock in my back pocket, had the spectator take this, punch it behind their back, and then as I sort of said, so you initially held this behind your back, right? I would switch clocks. But I didn't want to switch. I didn't want a timing force. I wanted it to be much more organic and clean and no forces, and that's where it got down to this really minimal, really lovely handling. So In this effect that I just showed you, I combined a prediction written on a pad, as well as the money. And the money is so clever and cool, if I can say for myself, because it really sends them thinking in a very different direction than the actual method, okay? And there's so much drama to money, right? But let's take a look at all this. First thing you're gonna do though is you're gonna wanna take the envelope, okay? You're gonna wanna pull off the white strip here, and where the glue is here, get some tape, okay? I'm just using standard Scotch tape here. Let's see here, like this, and like that. There we go, okay? So what I've done is just put a piece of tape there, all right, like that. You could use black tape if you want to match it in, but everyone can see it's just a piece of tape there. It's not, it's not like it's gonna be in any way secretly involved in the method, all right? Now, you've got your $4.30, okay, and whatever your local currency is. This is inside the envelope here like that, okay? And your $4 and your 30 cents are here like this, boom, like this. Okay? So that is in there like that. You could fold it down so it's a little deeper down if you want, but that's there like that, okay? Then you got your clock. Take one of the clocks, okay? You're gonna have that in there like that. Clock. You got your hole punch. You're gonna have your marker, and boom, got your pad. You're all set to go, except for one simple bit of preparation, all right? Take the clock out, take your hole punch it at exactly 4:30. This goes in the envelope with the hole like that, okay? That's where it's at, the hole's uppermost. You are now ready to do this killer trick anytime, anywhere, all right? How's it start? A couple of key things with your presentation. Do not tell them it's a clock till you turn it over and show them it's a clock, okay? Sometimes I'll have someone say, I want you to, to do this kind of thing. I want you to keep your mind a blank. We're going to try something. I want you to get a sense of numbers. I'm thinking of a number, thinking of a particular thing. Sometimes I will say time of day, thinking of a certain time, but I never say the word clock before showing it to them. I think that's important. So it's more dramatic when they unreal, and you don't want them to get too far ahead of exactly what's happening in the process. Okay, we're here. Now, I've done this pad prediction separately from the money, and I've done the money prediction separately from the pad. You don't need both, but this has got a nice 1-2 punch, okay? Here, you got this here. First thing you're gonna do is write your 4:30, boom, like this, like that. Now, you can rip this out, crumple it up, and have someone hold in their hand. Could be the person who's gonna be trying to get a sense of the psychic connection, who's gonna be the one to say stop on the clock. You could do that. You could have this in a second envelope, 2 nice matching envelopes. You could have this just here written on a pad of paper like that. Okay, so that's written there. Now, don't overthink this. That's the problem with way too many magic tricks. All I'm doing here is opening up the envelope and taking out a white cardboard disc. That's all I'm doing, okay? Super fair. Well, my hands are obviously empty. And of course, all I did was reach in, put my thumb, and I want to make sure I don't want to open it like this, or someone might see it prematurely, the hole, right? So I make sure if they're sitting, I hold this above their sight line. If they're standing, I tilt it back a little bit. I would rather they get a flash of the clock face, just a brief flash of the clock face, than anybody seeing that hole. But this is literally as simple as this trick is. You're opening, you cover the hole, you take it out, okay? I close this up with my fingers, hand this to someone, hold on to it, say, hold on to that. There's a lot of money in there, okay? Or hold on to that. I put some money in there, okay? Or that's every cent I've got, or, I carry my money in there, or I don't have a wallet, hold on to that. I make a reference to the money. So someone's got the money. Someone's got the pad of paper, and I'm right here, and I'm in the position I need to be. Thumb on top, fingers below. Introduce the hole punch, okay? And now, I'm going to tell you about a few different possible handlings, but I'm going to do this, and I can either do one of two things. I want to make sure you can see this on camera. I can either do one of two things. I can either move the hole punch slowly around the circle, right? Or I can slowly move the circle through the hole punch. Either way, I want you to see how crazy clean this looks, okay? If you think for a second instantly, anybody thinks, hey, I bet under his right thumb, there's already a punched hole. you're nuts. That no one's there. They don't even know what's happening. They have no clue. They just know a pad of paper and a black envelope, and you took this out, okay? They think it might be some sort of school project going on right now, arts and crafts, okay? So you're here, and you say, I'm gonna slowly move this, and what I try to do is make sure this part of the presentation is minimal, and then later on, I might do a bit more scripting there. So I'm here. So I'm gonna slowly move this through the hole, and I want you to tell me when I'm gonna punch a hole. I want you to say stop. And I always emphasize, I say, you can do it at any time. You can do it in 2 seconds, you can do it in 10 seconds. This is the important part. Okay, so I really let them know. Now, so I'm moving, sometimes I combine the two, the action of the turning and the hole punch. So I'm doing this, and when they say there, I say, are you absolutely certain? I can do a little further if you want. Sometimes they say there, sometimes they say don't. Maybe they say go a little further, I go a little further, and I say punch there, okay, and I punch. Now, when you punch, you want to make sure, of course, that the hole, okay, you'll see that this hole and the prepped hole are almost exactly the same distance from the outside. What you don't want, I'm going to get back to this one in a second, is you don't want to be punching, if your prepared hole is here, you don't want, when you ask the spectator, you go around, you don't want to do, obviously, a hole deep in there. You want to make sure that the two are near the edge, okay? But don't sweat it, okay? You're already so far ahead of them, right? You're here. I've punched the hole. I'm here. Now, at this point, what I sometimes do is I hand this to someone, and I say, take a look at that. Is that a real hole punch? And they say it is. And I just casually transfer the punch clock from the right hand to the left hand while putting the focus on the hole punch, right? Sometimes I'll say, so that pad of paper, you've been holding that pad of paper from the very beginning. And I just do a gesture, bring it back, and here. I'm gonna transfer, the key here, the whole method, the advanced technique sleight on this technique, oh, it's so difficult, is being able to transfer the clock from one hand to the other, and the trick is done. It's done. And they have no idea. You know, it's a classic thing I always love to say. They think the trick has just started. Oh no, it's quite over. You're way, way ahead. So in the most natural action of transferring the clock, you just punched it, from one hand to the other to gesture to something, or I turn to somebody else and I say, you know, I've done this, and I'd say, would you say that, you know, when I went around with that whole punch, they could say stop whenever they wanted. Anything that pulls focus off the clock, punch, done. Then you're looking at somebody, you're referring to the money in the envelope, and there's lots of different ways you can do this. You're here, all you're doing is transferring from one hand to the other and picking this up maybe. Then at the end, of course, that's when you come up and show them the time. All right, so reveal the method, reveal the transfer of this. Now, I've showed them that, everyone, and this is key. Make sure that everybody can see it. So can you tell me about the hole punch there? Would you say about what time is it? And they might say, oh, it's 4:20 or 4:28 or something like this. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll transfer here. Then I look at it and I go, oh, look, I think you'd agree. You stopped right at 4:30. Make sure everybody can see, because you want to make sure that it's absolutely clear. And this is also sometimes where if I'm going to do this effect, and I typically do wear a dark shirt anyway, you want to make sure there's a dark shirt so they can see the hole. Close up, they can see the hole right through it. Okay, boom. 4:30, okay? Then this, I take this, I either put it, typically either put it in my case, right? Or I just put it in my front pocket, my pants pocket, or my jacket pocket. Everybody saw it was absolutely 4:30. It was very clear. They said stop wherever they wanted. The magician even gave them a choice to change their mind. Now is the exciting part. You move from the clock face, boom, the 4:30, onto this. You reveal that. Possibly, and then say, oh, remember I mentioned there was some money in there? I want you to see. It was actually a bet, you know, and you could even say beforehand, even before you had, I've got some money, this is my bet. If I'm incorrect on this, you get to keep all the money, but if I get it right, I get to keep the money. I get to keep my money. So when you show this, the 4:30, what's nice is everybody knows, oh, he gets to keep his money. They have no idea the kicker ending. They have no idea that what's coming is, of course, now you show him possibly you have, the money was $4.30. Because the basic effect is so strong and so clear, it leaves sort of you wide open to reveal the impossible prediction, okay, that you never get wrong, okay, it's always right on the money. It gives you an opportunity to reveal a prediction in so many different kinds of ways. I mean, you could hand someone a dollar bill just from the very beginning, very dramatic. Could be $100 bill, right? That's your big money risk. And when they open it up, of course, you show the 630. Boom. Okay. So that's one way you can reveal this. Your business card, in the back of your business card. I mean, what a great way to promote yourself. Have your business card, all the ink and everything facing throughout the performance, facing up, and at the end, boom, reveal the time. What a great way. You could lock in the image either back on your business card or on a piece of paper. Rather than writing it down 2:30, you could, or 9 o'clock, you could draw a clock and have it like that. That's another way to reveal this. I've also wanted to mention too, I've sometimes whispered to a spectator. I'll turn to a spectator, have no physical prediction, keep the whole thing psychological in people's minds. They're going to do this for someone, let's say it's a couple. I'm going to have the woman tell me when to stop. She's going to be intuitive, but the husband at the very beginning, I'm just going to whisper something in your ear. And in fact, what I want you to do, I don't know if you guys know exactly what time of day you were born, but I know the exact time of day I was born, down to the minute. You lean over to the husband, you let him know, 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, right? Then you do your prediction, boom, at the very end, having revealed that, then you ask him, even before you turn over, after the punch, you turn to him, you're still holding the clock face down, right? You've done the switches, you turn over to him, not the switch of the clock, but just sort of transfer the clock from one hand to the other, right? As I've discussed, you turn to him and say, okay, do you remember what time of day I told you I was born? And he says, yeah, you said 4 o'clock. And then, boom, you turn it over, 4 o'clock, bam. Really magical that way. Also, here's one where I combine the two, which is really strong, where you've, if you want to have it a reveal, you can do this first, or you can have this done after the fact, after the punch. But I think it's better to have do this first. We have a spectator, okay? You give the cards a mix-up, all right? And they, give them a shuffle. Right? You can say, look, you can see there's no pattern in the pack of cards, whatever. Want you to lift off as many cards, 5, 10, 20, 30, whatever. They lift off a bunch, get rid of them, boom. And then you ask them to deal out in 3 piles the 3 cards. And you could be talking about random connections, or you could be talking about one of the exciting things about magic and mentalism is it reveals that while things may seem random in the world, they're actually far more ordered than we can ever guess. So, right? Then you reveal the time on the clock, and of course here, when you turn these over, okay, you've got 3, 4, 5. 3:45, boom, like that. Then they see 3:45 on the clock, or you reveal the clock 3:45, boom, like that. And then you have them turn over these 3 cards, and you get the drama of the 3, the 4, and the 5, right? Nobody has ever asked me, can I look at the clock? But let's say you want to give it away as a souvenir, right? Okay, there's one way I've done it is once I reveal that's 6 o'clock and they see it 6 o'clock before I reveal the dollars or the drawing on my phone or whatever I've done, or they deal before we reveal that, all I do is casually fold this up, okay? Casually fold that up, okay? And I put it in my pocket. That's it. And notice that when I folded it up, I made sure the second hole didn't flash. Boom, we punch a hole, 6 o'clock, you fold it up, put it in your pocket. All the focus is now on here. You do your reveal, all that kind of thing. And if, as an after fact, as sort of an afterthought at the end, what you want to do is say, hey, why don't you keep this as a souvenir? They can keep this as a souvenir. And of course, at that point, I found too, even then, nobody kind of studies the clock, but they can keep it as a souvenir this time. And all I've done is because I know what the cards, the hour is going to be, I have a second clock punched with a 6, okay? That's in my left pants pocket. Then with my right pants pocket, after I've revealed, I've transferred from one hand to the other, right? Then I reveal that it's the 6 o'clock, whatever. When I fold this up, I make sure the other hole isn't shown. Fold that up. Casually put this in my right pants pocket. Bring the trick back to here. 4 seconds later, nobody remembers in which pocket you put the folded clock, right? No one remembers. Boom, 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 like that. They get to, we reveal, oh my God, that's incredible, crazy. And then as an afterthought, like I said, I take this out. Everyone assumes it's the exact same clock. and you can give it away, all right? Now, to a magician, it seems cool that they can even examine or keep the clock. To a layperson, it's just a fun souvenir. There's no sense that they want to examine the clock. Like I said, it's really important you keep that in mind, okay? So that's one way to give it away as a souvenir. Another way, of course, is you could simply take this, if you were doing a stand-up show, right? Just take the clock. It's served its purpose. Everyone sees it's 6 o'clock. You punch the hole in it. Put that in your case. Put all the focus then on what the person's holding on stage, the prediction, the this, the that, and then as an afterthought, again, go into your case, just grab again. This time it's a single hole. Grab a matching one. You know what the prediction anyway, and you can even give it an autograph, or you can work it into another trick, do something else with it, go on from there, and leave that as a souvenir. Okay. One other thing you can do is, so you've done that. You've done that. One other thing you can do is you can have two matching. We'll do this again. We're here. Okay, we're here like this. We've got our 6 punched here like this. I have a matching one, okay, just one hole at 6 o'clock. This is inside the envelope, okay, and it can be any old way you want, oriented any way. It's in there. Now, I have my one here, okay, where I've been able to have it sort of pre-punch there, okay. So when I perform the effect, I grab the one, okay, here. I do the effect here. We know I'm here. I'm gonna go around like this. You can say punch anytime. They say punch right here. I punch right there like this, okay, like that. Say punch. You agree at a fair, and did you have anything in mind, any thought? Nothing at all, and then you've transferred from one hand to the other, and then you can show everybody, of course, it's 6 o'clock amazingly. Again, concealing that second hole just by going from one hand to the other, right, like this. Now, at this point, having shown everybody it's the 6, okay? You take this, you casually, and you got the envelope here, right? Take this, you put it inside here, done. Reveal the 6 in whatever way. When you come back, if you want to give it as a souvenir, just reach inside. It even looks like there's just one in there, because reach in there, take the one on the top and give it to them as a souvenir. Here is a very cool way to add magic to this mentalism trick. And at the same time, it leaves you in a position that if you want to give away the clock at the end, you can. Kind of more drama, more sort of another impossible climax here, a bit of interesting imagination you can inspire people. Works on a few ways. The setup's this. You've got a clock, you punch 6, okay? You're gonna fold this in half, fold it in quarters, fold it in eighths, something like this, just a little bundle like that, okay? Then what you're gonna do is unfold it, all right, to the halfway mark. Have this inside the envelope, okay, and have it tucked nicely way down in the bottom, okay? That's the setup. You're also going to have a second, so along with this, I want to make sure you have a complete setup here, is we have a second one with, again, hole punch through. You've got this setup as in the original handling, right? That's there like that, okay? There, and then, okay, so that's your, and let's assume you're also going to use, for prediction here, a pad of paper, okay? So, how does this work? Show the pad of paper. You know, try to do some psychic connection with someone. Send your thought, try to intuition. You're like this. You're going to take this, and you're writing something down on it. They're not sure what. Take the marker, okay? Going to put the marker in your pocket. Take this piece of paper, tear it off, make sure no one can see through the back, crumple it up and have it someone to hold on to, all right? Now, at this point, you go as per the original handling, okay? Where you open the envelope, you grab, close up the envelope, put the envelope down on the table, boom, it's down on the table. You're holding it, there's nothing to see here, right? We, again, we either spin it through, or maybe you're going to move the hole punch around wherever they call stop. Again, you're going to punch a hole there. You're sure you want me to move it a bit more? No, how about there? And you punch a hole through it like that, right? Okay? I think you'd agree you had any chance of pause. Now you still got the envelope. You're holding on to that, and they are holding on to that. And then, of course, now you say you could have punched the hole anywhere, and you reveal now it's at 6 o'clock. Okay? Everything's the same as before. However, now what's very cool is you're saying, and now you can even have someone open their hand, and boom, it's 6 o'clock. Okay, impossible trick, amazing, okay? Boom. And then you say, I'm gonna actually tell you how I did it. Time travel. Yeah, I went ahead in time, got a sense of where you're gonna stop, came back, and then I was able to write this prediction. So it's time travel. Say, you may not believe, but I'm gonna prove to you that time travel, that I can actually orchestrate time travel, okay? You take this, you fold it up in half, quarters, eighths, right? They see, so I'm gonna send this actually back in time. I'm gonna send it back in time, and I've got my magic wand here. I'm gonna send it back in time to when the clock was back inside the envelope. And this is where people go, like, no way, no way, no way. You ask them to open up the envelope, and inside, they find there's 6 o'clock punched clock inside with the creases. It's kind of interesting psychologically, because the creases make it convincing. You'd think there shouldn't be any creases. It's back, which you can do. Of course, you can do that by simply having a duplicate 6 in here punched in flat. But I have tried it both ways many times. And there's something about someone taking the clock out from inside and people seeing the folds and the 6 punch that really nails the idea it has to have been the same clock. And of course, all I did was ditch the other one. I folded up. That's why you put the marker back in the pocket. You fold this up and then you perform some simple transfer like a coin. Either you could do a false transfer like that, or you can do a false put like that. This is a pretty nice little bundle. You'll see it handles a lot like a $50 in that. Then you go to your pocket here, you make this, and beautifully all focus goes from your hands in the pocket. All focus goes from there, put the marker back, to the envelope someone's been holding, then they open it up. So it's a really elegant way to have an extra moment of magic to end, and it really sells the idea that it's the same clock that you just had, because they could have called stop and punch anywhere they wanted, and you end up with a nice souvenir as well. So it works in a whole bunch of ways. Okay, I've got a last bunch of ideas here. I don't think you need any of these additional ideas, but I like to give as much value as I can, with all my projects. First, if you want to repeat the handling, obviously, just prepare 2 clocks, right? I can have 1 clock punch for 1 o'clock, another for 8:30, right? I can have the 2 clocks here, make sure both of those holes are oriented up near the top there. They're both here like this, like that. So that way what I can do if I want to is I can take out 1, okay, reach in, take out 1, boom, out we come, covering the hole, of course. We can do it once, boom, show a transfer from hand to hand to the impossible climax, boom. And then you might well hear someone, and again, once you're done with that, you get rid of that, put it in your pocket, fold it up, whatever. And then you might well hear someone say, can you do that again? Or I wish I had done it. I wonder if it would have been a different time. So you can literally go right down, open your envelope, grab another one, and and this is, and so you can immediately do it again, but this time it'll, as opposed to your prediction of 1 o'clock, now you're down to the prediction of 8:30, right? Okay, so that's one simple way to repeat it, immediately repeat the effect with a different result. Also, virtual shows. I don't know if I mentioned this. I've done this many times, particularly like 2 years ago, like all of us, when I was doing a bunch of virtual shows, corporate shows. It works beautifully because you can take it out, you can have them, they call stop, they punch the hole, okay, you show everybody, then the impossible reveal, some big poster, or it's tattooed on your stomach or whatever, or maybe you mailed it ahead of time to the CEO, he or she opens it up on camera, right? So all this can work virtually, because they don't actually handle it. So there's that, though it looks so fair. It's one of those rare, super fair looking choices. Looks so fair, but they don't even have to be in the room to do it. Okay, there's that idea. Also notice that the spectator, well, I can conceal this hole and move this around like this. You could hand the hole punch to the spectator, and then either slowly, or what I like to do is at that point I hold it, usually conceal the hole here in this one, then the thumb, and I sort of slowly turn this while they hold on to this. And I say, I want you to say when to say stop, and they say stop. Okay, I don't say go ahead and punch, okay, whenever you want, because it could easily be wild. They could be way too deep into the clock, right, or get only a little bit of the clock, then it's not going to match my pre-punched hole, right? So what I do is I slowly move it through like this, or like I said with the 2 thumbs, I slowly move it through whenever you want to. Say stop, they say stop there, and I say, okay, great. I say, go ahead, punch a hole. And that way I can gauge. Now, you don't do it for drunk people, of course. That's a very different trick. But that way I can subtly, if I see they're kind of deep, I can just go pull it back slightly and say, go ahead, punch. That way I can control it, but they get to punch. And what's nice about that is all the focus then is on them with a hole punch. Boom, like that. Then as I transfer from one hand to the other, I might lean in and make some joke about, boy, you did a really good job of that, nicely done. Or is that the first time you've done that? You seem a real natural punching holes, whatever. And lots of misdirection when I do the transfer with the spectator doing it. Last idea I want to share with you on this really cool, elegant mentalism effect is, of course, is a stand-up handle, right? Because I've done this for stand-up shows, not huge, but maybe 75 people, corporate event. It makes for a great closer, particularly if you have a big-ass prediction, right? So I can, again, you take this out. But what I do with a stand-up show is I transfer the clock from this position to this position, okay? And notice you can even do this when you transfer from one hand to the other if you want. You can handle this clock pretty, I mean, you're looking, right now you're burning me and looking for that hole I'm concealing, and I think you'll see there's very little flashing going on with this action of turning it over in the finger. So, you know, it's really simple because it's such a small thing you're concealing, right? So for a stand-up show, the last comment here, for a stand-up show, I take it out here like this, and then I transfer it to here, and then I want to make sure everybody can see. So while concealing this, now I grab this and I slowly bring this around like that so everybody can see before I punch it. People at the back of the room, everybody can see it before the punch. And of course, in a stand-up show, you got lots of opportunity to transfer from one hand to the other and bring your original hole into view and go from there. And make sure, really lean in, make sure everybody in the front row can see. What would you say? Is that, would you say 8:30, maybe 8:35? Is that fair? 8:35, and they all agree, maybe 8:41, whatever, and you go from there. Super flexible, really, you know, it's a really organic principle, no sleight of hand, never misses. That's perfect timing, and I think you'll agree after you try it a few times and get real comfortable with it. It's an absolutely perfect trick.